Reverend Deanna Cox here with our last midweek reflection before Christmas Eve. And I'm the United Church minister with Daysland, Killam, and Roseland United Churches and this online community of DKR United. And this is our midweek reflection. We've been talking about making time and making room for things that are important to us and making room for the holy, the sacred. And one of the things that I've been wanting to share with you this whole time, one of my favorite traditions that I have shared and passed on to our children that I've never really had the time to do, either through these last few weeks and or in the past several years, is making of sugar cookies. And so I wanted to do that with you today, at least sort of briefly, in kind of an online baking show kind of way. These sugar cookies are ones that were always, someone made them at the farmer's market in Toefield, and they were my favorite. They would just make them simple, round shape, nothing spectacular, and they had pretty pink icing on the top, but they were so soft that I just loved them, to the point where my family would buy them for me for my birthday or for Christmas because they knew how much I loved them and I couldn't always get to the market. And so one day, on the off chance, I was talking to the vendor and I told them how much I loved the cookies and asked if they might consider sharing the recipe. And they did. I was so grateful. And so thus started the tradition of making sugar cookies, these specific sugar cookies, with my family. And so the reason it takes a long time is because the person made this for the farmer's market. It makes a massive batch and it takes a lot of time, especially because one of the things that the kids loved the most was making the shapes. And I'll show you why they enjoyed it so much. This is my container of different cookie cutters. I collected them when the kids were small, and so there's all different kinds, from a very giant gingerbread man. I have ghosts, and so for different occasions, like I've got Halloween and Valentine's and Christmas galore. And so one of the favorite things for the kids was finding the different shapes and making it and cutting them out. But it almost kind of turned into like an all day or even 2-day venture, because by the time you make the dough and you cut out the endless amounts of shapes and cook them, you're almost too exhausted to decorate them. And so that's kind of why I was saving this a little. And one of the reasons why I was saving this is because I actually wanted the kids to be home to work on this with me. And so I was super excited because on Monday, or I don't know if you want to call it Monday or Tuesday, because it was at midnight, we were able to pick James up from the airport. And so the kids are not all physically here with me at this moment, but they are all home. And so I feel like I can authentically do these sugar cookies together, knowing that this tradition of being together is still going. And so they helped me get ready this morning to make the sugar cookies. And although at this moment I realize this very second that I got out the wrong recipe. And so I've gathered the ingredients for a different version of sugar cookies. So I'll have to fix that in a minute. But yeah, it just was reminding me of this tradition that, and just very poignantly reminded me about the importance of making time. Because this particular tradition does take a lot of time in gathering the ingredients and rolling it out and baking and decorating, and then packaging it up and sharing is also an important part of the tradition, because, as I said, it makes way too many cookies for just us. And so for all, I know many people have a tradition of Christmas baking, and then they divide them up and share them with friends and family. And as someone who is busy this time of year, the tradition of baking these things has turned into trying to make room for gratefully receiving the gifts of Christmas baking that I do, that I get. Because as I'm busy worshiping and preparing worship services and stuff, as I've shared, I don't always have the time to partake in the Christmas tradition of baking like I used to. Steve bakes a lot, which I am grateful for, but he also eats it before Christmas. So that gets challenging to make it and then make sure that it's still around to give away for Christmas. But so I have had to learn how to be grateful for the gifts that I have received, and not to feel guilty myself about not doing the things in the way that I once did. And that's a big learning, not just about Christmas baking, but about things in general. As our lives shift and move, either through the pandemic or through aging or through any sort of circumstance, really, there's going to be things that we can no longer do that we once did, that we cherished, and finding the grace and the gratitude to be able to embrace a new way of experiencing that is also incredibly important. And so yeah, I guess that's, as we go into Christmas Eve and Christmas gatherings this week and next, maybe just pay attention to that the give and take of traditions, and approaching them with grace and gratitude, and receiving what you can from whatever is as we go through this time together. I wish you all, if you're not able to come to the Christmas Eve service in person, I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. We will be having an online service only on January 2nd, so you can watch for the link to be shared for that. And then we will rejoin in person, provided all things go well, on January the 9th. So watch for the schedule of where to show up for that. Please remember that the physical communities of Killam and Daysland Roseland are switching worship times on the 9th of January. So the Killam community will be at 9 a.m. and the Daysland Roseland communities will be at 11 a.m. So please be mindful of that when you're planning any in-person worship services. And then, yes, this online community will continue to carry on. I may do a midweek reflection in between the Christmas and New Year's. We'll see how it goes, even if I just pop on to say hi. Yeah, take care. Merry Christmas to you all, and God bless you. Bye.